Nickelodeon was one of the most important TV channels during the last decade, with animated series that influenced many generations, such as SpongeBob or Hey Arnold. Nickelodeon was one of the few children's channels that had success with live-action shows, such as iCarly or Drake and Josh. With a wide repertoire of series, Nickelodeon created many moments of astonishment and bewilderment. In this video we will see some of those moments, which managed to traumatize more than one, and even today, they remember it vividly. Level 1. SpongeBob doesn't need any introduction. This time the reason for his appearance is due to the close-ups that the series usually does, because they are quite disturbing most of the times. It is quite common to find this type of scenes in any episode of the series, as it is a recurring joke. Some say that during the first seasons they were not so scary, and in the most recent ones they get worse.
You don't need to change it. Well, maybe a little work wouldn't hurt.
Avatar: The Legend of Aang was undoubtedly one of the channel's best series, and during the final installment of the series, we discovered Bloodbending, a variant of waterbending, which allows an extremely advanced waterbender to seize and manipulate fluids within an organism's body, allowing the bender to move the person's muscles. This technique is known as the highest level of waterbending, as well as the darkest, most powerful, and feared of all waterbending techniques, and is the only known art that endangers the mental state of the user. This is one of the most disturbing things in the series, as having the ability to manipulate another person's body is quite dark, in addition to the pain the victim must go through. Dark Harvest is part of the 4th episode of the first season of Invader Zim, a series that has always been characterized by having a very peculiar humor and dealing with situations completely different from other series of the time. Dark Harvest was a segment that caused intrigue to more than one viewer. The premise of the episode is as follows. Zim is an alien, therefore does not have organs similar to those of a human. He tries to go unnoticed at school, but the nurse will make an inspection, so he decides that to look more human, he needs to get human organs, so using a device, he manages to change the organs of his classmates, for random objects. In the end Zim ends up achieving his goal, since the nurse had never seen healthier organs. While the plot of the episode is enough to disturb a child, the episode also has some disturbing scenes of its own.
I've been working out.
Ren and Stimpy was undoubtedly the most controversial animated series of the channel, as it had a very adult humor and was not focused on children. During the 2nd season, there was a scene where Ren described quite graphically what he would do.
Oh, what I'm gonna do to you. First, I'm gonna tear your lips out. Next, I'm gonna tear your arms out of the sockets. And you wanna know what else? I'm gonna hit you. And you're gonna fall. And I'm gonna look down, and I'm gonna laugh.
Splaat is a logo, which as you can see, has a very peculiar appearance. This logo belonged to Closeups Studios, who are responsible for series like Rugrats or Rocket Power, which were transmitted by Nickelodeon. At the end of each episode, would jump some studio logo, which bothered more than one. Rugrats, another iconic series, is about a group of babies who have adventures in their own way, in a cute and childish way. Even though the series doesn't have many scary moments, the few that it does have, manage to bring out a scare. Even today, this is one of them.
Stu,
Oh, I didn't know you were coming over.
I'm not Stu.
Like many channels, Nickelodeon uses advertising bumpers to hook the audience and keep them watching for as long as possible. In 2001, while airing a SpongeBob marathon, the following bumper would premiere, which probably caused many to change the channel.
Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon.
My Life as a Teenage Robot is another iconic series of the best era of the channel. This scene is considered by many as the scariest of the series, as it demonstrates one of the greatest fears a person can have as a child. Level 2. To start with this level, we have another advertising bumper from the channel, which, like Pinch Face, has the particularity of being quite disturbing, especially for children. This style of animation was quite common for the time, as CGI and 3D animation was barely being used. Arnold's cousin Arnie is a rather strange character, as he was designed to represent the opposite of Arnold. During the episodes in which he appears, we can see that he has no manners, and he is not very attentive to what happens around him. Arnie would be remembered by many because of this scene, where we can see how he tries to hurt Arnold.
I realized why you came here, Arnold. It's so you could steal my girl. And now you're gonna pay for it.
Fight! 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 Fight!
If you're a SpongeBob fan, you probably remember this scene from the 6th season episode Fancy House. This scene is a bit unpleasant to watch, as it graphically shows how SpongeBob rips off Squidward's toenail.
Bob, I told you not to move it till I said, "Ow!" Why do you keep moving it?
'Cause you keep saying, "Ow!"
The Modern Life of Rocko is another classic of the channel. In this occasion, it is here for a scene, in the episode Uniform Behavior, where we can see Heffer having a quite terrifying hallucination.
It's going to be temporarily light here.
Oh, don't worry about it. Your credit's fine.
Well, here's looking at you, Lloyd.
Power has corrupted you, Hef. Where do you get off giving me a lousy ticket?
The Squidward creepypasta, Red Mist, is undoubtedly one of the best known. It is not necessary to talk about it. Everyone knows the story, because as a child it could seem scary, due to the supposed images of the lost episode. This story was so relevant that it became a reality in the episode SpongeBob in Randomland.
This place is a nightmare.
In the episode Teeth for Two of the iconic series Catdog, the animal couple goes to the dentist to discover an issue. It turns out that the teeth of one affects the other, so if both do not take care of their teeth, both will be affected. This causes them both to try to damage each other's teeth in every way possible, creating scenes that are quite disturbing to watch, but none compare to what happens at the end, where Cat decides that, to fix the problem, he will take care of Dog's teeth while he sleeps, in a quite unique way. Level 3. This time we have another scene of Hey Arnold, in the episode Part-Time Friends. In this episode Gerald and Arnold have a disagreement, which causes them to stop talking to each other, Arnold has a dream where they are both older, but they still don't talk to each other. That's where this scene occurs. Mr. Meaty was a series that did not achieve a great success and was cancelled after only a couple of episodes. This series was quite controversial, as many parents complained publicly as they considered that the characters of the series might not be suitable for children, due to the way they looked. The perfect example of this is Edward Carney, a character who would have a villainous role in the series, which is not surprising due to his appearance.
In our movie, Mr. Carney, please be in our movie.
Get off of my wheelie chair! When this boy's gone mad as flies for pig paddock!
Just like the advertising bumpers, Nickelodeon also aired commercials with the same purpose, to attract more viewers and to make those who were already watching the channel stay watching longer. Three-Head Monster is a commercial of the channel, which tries to make an allegory to the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 days in which they would have a special programming. At the same time, it is taken literally, as a three-headed monster is the protagonist of the commercial, with a design that is a little strange for some.
Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays called the Three-Headed Monster.
Are you saying Nicktoons Network has in effect created this monster?
The Three-Headed Monster is on Nicktoons Network. 3 nights fully loaded with your favorite Nicktoons hits and premieres. Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays from 7 to midnight. Only on Nicktoons Network. Because 3 heads are better than 1.
Real Monsters deserves a place by itself. The series was quite terrifying for some children, who did not even dare to watch it, because the main characters are monsters, with quite sinister designs. The series had a moderate success, as it only had a total of 52 episodes, but despite this, the series managed to have fans who still remember the series today. Rugrats returns once again to surprise us with how scary and traumatic can be a series of babies, because as you can see, what they have in common, the most disturbing scenes of the series, is that they are always about children's fears, seen from the perception that children have. In this case, one of the most common fears, the monster under the bed. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Is a live-action series produced by Nickelodeon during the 1990s. It revolved around a group of teenagers who referred to themselves as the Midnight Club. Each week, at a secret location in the woods, one member would tell a terrifying story to the group. The themes of the stories usually revolved around a variety of paranormal phenomena, such as demons, ghosts, haunted houses, magical curses, aliens, witches, vampires, werewolves, and many more, coming into contact with average young people. The episodes were usually filmed in the woods, in abandoned houses, or in public places such as schools and libraries. The sources of these stories varied in different ways, and many were adaptations of public domain fairy tales or urban legends. This series would be remembered by many children of the time, for while the creatures and monsters that appeared in the series were mostly people in makeup or costumes, many of them had a horrible appearance that would scare any child watching. Level 4. If you know Lee Hardcastle's channel, you will know that his animation method is quite peculiar. It is called claymation, a mix of a technique called stop motion, and figures made of clay. With this, he is able to instill terror in each of his videos. This Nickelodeon bumper, produced in 1996, looks quite similar, as it uses the same concepts, and although its intention is not to create suspense or fear, it is quite disturbing to watch. Maybe even Hardcastle himself was inspired by this bumper to create his videos.
Nick, 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 Nick. Nickelodeon. Nick is kids.
This is a creepypasta, which was not as popular as Red Mist. This one says the following. This image was taken from a split-second frame in a corrupted bootleg of the SpongeBob episode, Dumped. Other than the image, the rest of the video is composed of incomprehensible jumbles of colors, static, or just black screens. The audio seems to be a heavily distorted version of the audio from the original episode, with loud, droning buzzes occasionally interrupting it. The bootleg tape itself was found in December 2004 by a group of 5 teenagers from the city, rummaging around in a trash can, within an abandoned mental institution. Of these 5 individuals, 2 have committed suicide, 1 has gone missing, 1 refuses to comment on the tape, and the last hastily agreed to give paranormal investigators the tape, shortly after being interviewed about the suicide and disappearances of the other 3 persons. The current whereabouts of the tape are unknown, and many who stare at this image for a long enough period of time claim to see SpongeBob blink. As is to be expected with this type of story, it is false, and its only purpose is to scare people, unless someone can actually see him blink. Gregory's Room is another creepypasta that went unnoticed by many. Supposedly this would be a pilot for a new Nickelodeon series, which would be geared towards younger children, similar to shows like Dora the Explorer or Blue's Clues.
Oh, I didn't see you there. Hello, I'm Gregory, and this is my room. We're going to have so much fun together, just the 2 of us. We can look at the stars together. We can read a book together. We can stare into the glorious flames of the fireplace together. But no matter what we do, it will just be the 2 of us, alone in this room. Just me and you, no parents, no police, no one can hear you. Embrace me. I need love. Gregory needs love.
This is a Nickelodeon bumper that was produced during the 90s. The bumper is quite scary, due to the sound effects and music used, so it would not be surprising that some parents would have complained about this advertising bumper during that time.
Nick is. Nick is. Nick is. Kids.
During episode 3 of the first season of Ren and Stimpy, we get to see a pretty disgusting scene, as Stimpy shows Ren how to brush his teeth to have a bright smile, but Ren says that only humans do that. Ren would continue to not take care of his teeth until he ends up losing them, which leads us to another scene that can be quite terrifying and definitely makes you want to take care of your teeth. The Anti-Piracy Screen is normally used as a measure to prevent the distribution of illegal copies of the product in question. Nintendo is one of the companies that have used this method in their video games, but this time we have a Nickelodeon screen, which can cause a scare. Level 5. The Butcher was a reported puppet live-action short film from the early 2000s, featuring puppets made out of actual animal bones. According to a Reddit account, The Butcher, as they believe it was named, was a short film that aired sometime on Nickelodeon between 2001 and 2004. It was reportedly much darker than many of the other short films at the time. The intro showed the title card in white with a black background, and the film itself was entirely in black and white. The detail that caught the most attention was that the puppets used in the film appeared to be made of actual animal bones, such as cats, dogs, birds, and rabbits. After describing the film, the National Film Board of Canada, who was partnered with Viacom at the time, began searching their archives for a production code of The Butcher but found no evidence of the film's existence. This is a glitch that occurred during Thanksgiving. In this glitch we can only hear the sound of the commercial that was supposed to be playing, but we can't see the image, resulting in this.
Only on Nickelodeon.
This is another creepypasta, which involves the episode Your Shoes Are Untied. As with all of these stories, this footage was supposedly found, as it is part of the original broadcast of the episode.
Hi, SpongeBob. SpongeBob?
The creator of Rugrats, Gabor Suppo, originally planned a late-night version of Rugrats called Rugrascals, which would be shown at night, with more adult humor. Because all the major channels thought this adult version was too disturbing, permission to air the series was denied, and as a result, no one has really heard of such a version of the series. However, a station in Wellington, New Zealand mistakenly placed the VHS with the adult version episode in the morning, thinking it was a regular Rugrats episode. The episode that was seen was called Chuckie's Mom. In this episode, Chuckie's mom is in the hospital due to a serious illness, where she's about to lose her life. During the episode, many disturbing scenes are shown, with image cuts and glitches, until the TV station cancels the transmission. As you can deduce, this is a creepypasta. These stories are usually false, because they sound quite extreme, and unless someday real proof of these alleged episodes is found, they will only remain as a memory, which during our childhood, perhaps caused us fear. These are supposed credit scenes that were removed because they were too disturbing for a child. They were done in series like Jimmy Neutron or Rugrats.